As someone living in the United States, I know all of the main companies. You've got your Razers, you've got your Corsairs, the gaming peripheral companies. Now, when Gamdias reached out to me, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I've heard it multiple ways, so I'm just gonna go with that. When they reached out to me about looking at some of their products, I was like, why haven't I heard of this company before? A lot of times I get reached out to about really crappy, cheap products, and so I looked them up and was surprised to see they seem like they have some really nice stuff. So I worked out some stuff with them, got some stuff sent over, and I'm gonna say I'm honestly kind of surprised. Whether or not long term these are good products, I will have to find out. Just like I'm doing with my Corsair K95 Platinum RGB keyboard, I'll be doing a review of these Gamdias products as well as that keyboard into the future after I've used them for a few months, letting you know what happens. So Gamdias' story is two things. They wanted the power and the beauty and the majestic nature of the Greek gods to be combined with the art of gaming. The GAM in Gamdias stands for Gaming Art in Motion, and the DIAS is the Latin word for God. They wanted to bring the Greek gods and gaming art together into one product. And I can appreciate that idea. I can appreciate that sentiment, wanting to push the envelope further on design. And whereas a lot of companies are focused on ergonomics and also having a brand, they really want to focus on design. So let's see through these products if that's something that they do or something that they lack on a little bit. But for right now, we're gonna unbox the Hades M1 Optical RGB wired and wireless gaming mouse, as well as the Nyx extended mouse pad. So without further ado, let's jump into it. By the way, for all of you guys who have been on my channel for a long time and you see all this crazy stuff in the background on my bookshelves, don't worry, I'm in the process of moving some stuff. I'm working on rearranging and stuff, so that's why it looks crazy in here and it doesn't look anything like it did before. But anyway, so to show you what I have right now, I have a SteelSeries QCK. I want to say it's a plus mouse pad. It's very soft. It's got like that felt feel. I think it might have been non-slip originally. It's definitely slipping around nowadays. I have the Razer Death Adder Elite mouse. I've used this for a really long time. It's probably the best feeling mouse I've ever used, especially because I use the palm form when I'm using my mouse, and it's a perfect fit for me. It's extremely ergonomic. Never had any issues with it. It's lasted for the year and a half that I've had it, so I've been really happy with this product. Overall though, the mouse pad was okay. It slides a lot. At first it was really good, and I've never had any issues with it actually tracking and how it feels when using it. It's just really dirty, and it also slips around all the time and never stays where it is. So I also wanted an extended mouse pad to be able to use, so I'm kind of excited to see how this is gonna look. So first and foremost, here is the package for the Nyx P1 extended mouse pad. As you can see, it has a lot of interesting features like the honeycomb pattern, that it says it's steady and precise. It's got a rough surface, which is different than what I had before, and most importantly for me, it's non-slip because my SteelSeries mouse pad definitely slips. So I'm excited to be able to see what that means. Here's a little bit more look at the packaging. For the most part, I think that this packaging combines a lot about what's good about product marketing, meaning that the text is really interesting. I do like the fonts that they use, and also showing a lot of the features on the package. And when unboxing the mouse pad, I really like the fact that right as you open it up, you have the Gamdias embossed logo right there in gold. Right as you open it up, that's a neat little touch that they have it right there. So as soon as you open it, bam, greeted by that. So now we have the mouse pad out, and man, this thing is a beast. I actually really like the large Gamdias font that is in there on the lower right hand side, and then it says Gamdias, Gaming Art in Motion, which is their tagline, which I think is really cool and a great idea, Gaming Art in Motion. I just think that's kind of goes along with the fact that video games are art, and they're relying on that. They're making it different and unique, and it feels like a gaming product, which I actually think is really cool for the most part. As you can see, it does have that honeycomb design, whereas my previous mouse pad had that suede and felt look, and when comparing them together, you can definitely see the difference. So I really do like that honeycomb. I can't describe how it feels. It does have a rougher texture, of course, but it's still smooth because they're small enough to where it feels like you're going over a solid surface. It's really impressive. I actually really like that texture, and I didn't know if I would when I first opened it, but I'm digging it. And of course, the other product that was sent out was the Hades M1 wireless optical gaming mouse. Again, with the packaging, it does combine that look of aesthetics as well as having a bunch of the features and everything on it. So here's a look at the packaging on each side. I do like the fact that it can be wired and wireless. I know wireless is never as reliable and isn't usually as good at tracking, and just in general isn't as superior as the wired mouse is, like my Razer Death Adder Elite. But I'm still excited to try it, as I don't always need the precision, accuracy, and quality of a wired gaming mouse. So when you open up the box, box, I really like how this looks in here. However, when you open it up, I don't like what the inside looks like. There's no paper, no real design. It's just a little see-through thing with the mouse inside. So I'm kind of let down by that. Then you open it up and all you have here is what looks like the cables for the wires for the mouse. And again, no papers, no documentation, no instructions. So in the plastic, you have the little USB connector that lets you use the mouse wirelessly, again, with Gamdias on it. I can appreciate that. I do like their font. It does feel gamey, which sometimes is, I think what we like out of our game peripherals. Some people like really minimalistic, simple stuff, but I'm not always about that. And then it also has these, they look like bumpers, I think, that would go on the side of the mouse. I'll have to see and test that out and see how I feel about that. I don't think I want to use it as I like ergonomics, but and then another one. It doesn't even seem like there's two sides that could go on, so I don't really know how that's going to work, but we'll figure that out. And of course, the mouse itself. From an initial look, I really like the look of it. It has a lot of curves. It has looks like RGB all the way down the bottom and the top. It looks really cool. I'm excited to see what this looks like. And that's it. The package is empty. That was all. No papers or anything. A little disappointed by that, but it is what it is. So here we have the mouse out, and first impressions, it's definitely different than my Razer for sure. I like the look of it. I like that it has the strong, solid lines instead of the Razer's more curvy look about it. I do like, especially at the bottom here, that it goes in that V shape, whereas the Razer is very circular. I also like the design right under the mouse. And then there's those lines that go up the side that I just think are really cool. And overall, it just seems very strong, and I don't know the words. They're like solid, powerful lines, whereas the Razer is just very circular and conforms, and I don't know, I really like it. One thing I really have to point out is this USB. Talk about gaming art in motion. I love that they even went this far on the USB to make it look like this. They have their logo on the side. I just think even here you can see they make it look like it is part of a brand, and a lot of companies don't go that far. I really appreciate that. And just so everybody knows, the two things about this company is that it's gaming art in motion, and then the other thing is the Greek gods, Hades. There's a Zeus mouse, there's a Hermes keyboard, and so they have that strong, supposed to be godlike look to them. And then when you turn it on, I really like how it looks. At first, it looks like there isn't really much light along the bottom, but I actually found out that if you turn down the lights, and especially at nighttime, you can really see the lights along the bottom. But because I'm using natural sunlight as my lighting source, you can't really see it at the bottom there, which I think is kind of unfortunate when the top lights up as much as it does. There's also the button at the top to let you know if it's charging, if it's on, and if it's plugged in, which I can appreciate. Now when it comes to looking at the Razer and the Hades next to each other, you can really see with the Death Adder Elite, it's all about ergonomics. As with here with the Hades M1, it's very about those strong, powerful lines. And you see the logo, there's multiple logos on there. And whereas when you look at the Razer Death Adder Elite, it's very circular, very focused on being ergonomic. And the only real identifying factor on the Razer is the Razer logo itself. Now, again, looking at them on the sides, there's so much RGB on the Hades, and it also has those strong lines that end very abruptly, whereas the Razer looks like it's molded to your hand. It looks like it's what it's meant to look like. And then, of course, I think one of the most jarring one is from the front, where again, it ends in those solid lines. It has the kind of shape that curves out into the front, whereas on the Death Adder Elite, it still even seems like it has a circular and ergonomic shape, even at the end, which you can tell the Hades is very meant for aesthetic looks, and the Razer wants to look ergonomic. It wants to look like something you can use all the time. It almost looks like fins in the front. So for me, the reason I find the Razer Death Adder Elite so comfortable is that I use the palm grip when using my mouse. With the Razer Death Adder Elite, it's a perfect fit. I thought it was the most comfortable mouse I ever used. However, with the Hades, I do end up having to use a bit more of a claw fit, which isn't a big deal. It just doesn't feel as comfortable in my hand, and I'm going to use it for a while, let myself get used to the feeling, see after a couple months if it's something I want to continue using, or if I feel like I really need that palm grip. And I don't know, I might lean towards the latter and want my Razer back, but I guess we'll see. after these couple months. More than anything, I think the design is something that the Hades really has going for it. It just feels more, let me see if I can get in frame there. It just feels more gamery. It's got the RGB all the way around the sides. And again, in this bright lighting, you can't really see too well. There's a little bit of help. This is a weird way to show this. I know I could just use B-roll, but I'm doing this instead. But yeah, the lighting going all the way around, the more game design, the more honestly like exotic and majestic design. I think that's the appeal of the Hades mouse. It is a good mouse. It's definitely quality, and for my usage, I've enjoyed it for the most part. But I guess we'll see, like I said, as time goes on, how I really feel about it. There are some issues with when any kind of spot or oil or a little bit of liquid gets on it, that it actually shows that really easy, whereas my Death Adder didn't do that. So I think, again, that'll be something interesting. Is it gonna scratch over time? Are those marks gonna get left there? I'll have to wait and see as I continue to use it. Whereas what I said with the Death Adder is this thing is made to be used in your hand. Like, it just fits so perfectly. And so for me, that's gonna be, I think, the defining factor in the long run, whether or not I use which mouse, is that one of them is very ergonomic, feels more solid. One of them is all about the design, and I think goes better with the mouse pad, which I'm going to be using because I just love this mouse pad. But I think what it's really going to come down to is which feels better in the long run. And I'm thinking I'm going to lean towards the Death Adder, but I love the look of this. Some people I know, like I said, like the minimal, they think that this looks trashy or cheap or too gamey or gamer or whatever. But I actually really like that. I think, especially as an editor, a gamer who makes gaming videos, and I like having the option to take either one along, having a wireless or a wired. If I'm going to be in long stretches using a mouse, I'll probably use the Death Adder even while I have the Hades, just because I think that it'll be more comfortable in the hand for a while. But overall, it's been a really quality mouse so far. So for my initial impressions for both of these products, the mouse pad and the mouse, running you around $100, I think aesthetically, if you like gaming, if you like their theme of the Greek gods and gaming art and motion, and you like gaming looking peripherals, these are a good choice. I actually really like the mouse pad. I like the branding all over it. I, for one, think it's cool. I think that if there was anything else on here, though, it would be a little too much, considering it says Gamdias in the big letters, Gamdias in the small letters, and has their little tagline there. It has the embossed gold logo in the top. There is a lot of it on there, so if there's any more, it'd be a little too much, but I actually like it. I think it goes really well with the mouse. I love that the mouse has RGB all over the sides. I love the really strong, straight, rigid lines. Compared to the Death Adder, I think it's a big difference. I think it goes well with my Corsair keyboard, because the Corsair is very smooth, but it has a lot of lights, and it has that strong kind of bold metal look to it, and I think that the Hades M1 goes well with it. And so right now, for my initial impressions, I think that if you want something that's very aesthetically pleasing and you like the design, this would be a good way to go. While I haven't tested it in the long run and I can't recommend it as a long-term product just because I haven't done that yet, I will be doing that in the future. And another reason I think I haven't heard of Gamdias as a company is they're much more international than, say, the Razors and Corsairs of the world, whereas obviously they are international. They're mainly focused in places like the USA, whereas Gamdias is everywhere. And so I think that's something, they have a lot of products that aren't even available in the US. And so I think that's something that makes them a bit more unknown, is that they aren't mainly focused in just this market. So overall, I'm going to give a huge shout out to Gamdias for sending this out to me. I really appreciated the products. I like them a lot, and I'm going to continue to use them. My cat just jumped up on my desk, and I'll review them more fully and in depth in the future. I will link to them down below if you want to buy them or look at them yourselves or compare them to other products. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I know this is a bit of a different review style than I normally do. I kind of want it to be more conversational and just kind of take a brief look at the products and also my feelings on them after using them for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, which is about how long I've had them. And so I just wanted to let you guys know. So let me know how you guys feel about this video in the comments down below. I want to do more tech reviews. I want to talk more about products because it's something I really enjoy. I love technology. I love products. I love getting the newest things and being able to compare them to stuff I had before. So let me know if there's any other questions you have, any other things you'd like to see, and I'll answer those in the comments down below. And if there's any other products you'd like me to review, leave them down in the comments below as well, and we'll see if we can do that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're new to the community, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can see multiple new videos every week, and don't forget to give that like button some love. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, huge shout out to Gamdias, and I will see all you guys in the next video.